Today we're learning noun clauses, what they are, how they work, and how to use them in real sentences.
We'll show simple examples first, then how noun clauses act as subject, object, complement, object of a preposition, and as appositives, so you can use them with confidence.
A noun clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb that does the job of a noun. If a single word like book or idea can sit in a spot, a noun clause can sit there too. You'll often see them introduced by that. If, whether, or way, words like what, who, when, where, why, and how.
Listen to this. I know that you studied. The words that you studied form a clause with you as the subject and studied as the verb, and the whole thing works as the object of know. If I replace it with a noun, the sentence shape stays the same. I know the truth. Same pattern, so it's a noun clause.
Here is a friendly test. If you can replace the clause with something like it, this, or a simple noun and keep the sentence structure, you're probably looking at a noun clause. For example, what you said surprised me. Replace with it. It surprised me. The sentence still works.
Noun clauses are common after thinking and saying verbs. Think, believe, say, explain, remember, wonder, and so on. I believe that he is honest. She said that her bus was late. We wondered whether the plan would succeed. The clause answers, what? After the verb, so it behaves like a direct object.
Let's explore functions one by one, starting with subject. A clause can be the subject when it tells us what performs the action. What you did matters. Here, the whole clause what you did is the subject of matters. Another example, that she apologized is a relief.
Sometimes English prefers a lighter subject, so we move the clause to the end and use it as an extraposed subject with it at the start. It is a relief that she apologized. It helps the sentence flow more naturally. You'll hear this pattern all the time. It's clear that we need more time. It doesn't matter whether he comes. It surprised me how quickly they worked.
Now the direct object. After a verb, the clause can answer, what do you think, say, or no? Try these. We know that the exam is tomorrow. I remember what you taught me. She can't decide whether she should go. Each clause completes the meaning of the verb.
Next is subject complement, the part that follows a linking verb like be and renames or describes the subject. My hope is that you pass. The clause that you pass equals the noun hope and completes the idea. Another one. The truth is that we started late.
A clause can also be the object of a preposition. Prepositions want a noun after them, and a noun clause can fill that spot. I'm interested in what they discovered. We talked about how the software works. She is responsible for whether the report is accurate. The preposition plus clause makes a smooth, precise phrase.
Don't forget appositive noun clauses, which rename a noun right after it. I like the idea that we should meet earlier. Here, that we should meet earlier restates the idea. Another example. We ignored the fact that the store was closed. The clause explains the fact.
What about the word that? In many object clauses, that can be dropped in informal speech. I think. That. You're right. Keep it if the sentence feels confusing without it, or if you're writing formally. After certain adjectives or after a long subject, that helps clarity. It's important that everyone arrives on time.
If and whether introduce yes, no information. Use whether when you're presenting alternatives or when the clause is the subject object of a preposition or follows a be complement. I'm not sure whether I should call. We talked about whether fees will rise. The question is whether they'll agree. If is fine in many object positions. I don't know if he's coming. In very formal writing, whether is preferred for clarity.
What words such as what, who, where, when, why, and how can introduce noun clauses too. Notice that the clause keeps normal statement word order, not question order. I asked what his name was, not I asked what was his name in standard usage. Compare these. I don't know where she lives. Tell me why they left. Show me how it works.
There are also free relative clauses starting with what, whatever, whoever, whichever. They behave like noun phrases all by themselves. What you need is rest. Whoever finishes first wins. Take whichever fits best. These are still noun clauses because the whole chunk functions as a noun unit.
A common mistake is to confuse a noun clause with a relative clause that modifies a noun. In the sentence, the book that you recommended is great, that you recommended describes book. So it's an adjective relative clause, not a noun clause. In I know that you recommended the book, the clause is the object of know, so it's a noun clause. Ask yourself, does the clause name a thing or does it describe a noun?
Punctuation is usually simple. We don't put commas around essential noun clauses. We also avoid a question mark if the overall sentence is a statement, even if the clause contains question words. I wonder where they went. But if the whole sentence is a direct question, use a question mark. Can you explain why they left?
Here are short examples grouped by function. Subject. That he lied shocked everyone. Extrapose subject. It shocked everyone that he lied. Direct object. She admitted that she lied. Subject complement. The problem is that we're late.
We can also use noun clauses to report speech. Direct. He said, I am tired. Reported with a noun clause. He said that he was tired. Tense and pronouns often shift to match the new point of view, but the structure stays clear and economical.
For writing variety, try placing the clause early to set context. What we learned today will help on every exam. Or use the IT pattern to sound natural. It seems that our train is delayed. It turns out that practice makes progress. These frames are polite and clear.
A neat speaking trick is the placeholder test. If you can temporarily swap the clause for something and the grammar holds, you chose the right structure. I'm curious about what she thinks becomes, I'm curious about it. So you know the clause is acting as a noun after a preposition.
Let's do a quick mini story to hear several functions together. That the storm was coming worried the team, but they believed that they could finish. The plan was that they would move the game indoors. They discussed whether the fans would attend and argued about how the tickets should be refunded. In the end, the decision that they announced pleased everyone.
Notice the flow. We used a clause as a subject, then as objects after believed and discussed, then as a subject complement after was, and finally as an appositive after decision. Once you hear the pattern, you can build elegant sentences without sounding complicated.
Before we close, remember form and order. In noun clauses introduced by WH words, keep the statement order: who he is, where they are going, why it happened. In that clauses, avoid doubling subjects like that he is late. Keep one subject and one verb set inside the clause.
Also, watch agreement in pronouns. Say I know what matters, not I know what matter, because what takes a singular verb when it means the thing that. With whether, show options if needed. We're deciding whether to travel by train or by bus. With if, stay in object positions for safe, natural English. I'm not sure if they'll join us.
Very shortly, we learned what noun clauses are and how they replace nouns in sentences. We also saw the main introducers, that if, whether, and which words.
Very shortly, we practiced their functions as subject, direct object, complement, object of preposition, and appositive. And we noticed common patterns like the IT structure for smooth, natural style.
What we have learned today is that a noun clause is simply a clause doing a noun's job. And with a few introducers and patterns, you can use it anywhere a noun can go. When you meet a long sentence, look for that hidden noun chunk and test it with it or something to confirm the function.
We have learned to build and recognize noun clauses in all their roles, to choose between whether and if, to keep statement word order inside WH clauses, and to write clear sentences without unnecessary commas. With these examples and functions in mind, your grammar will be more precise, your writing more flexible, and your speaking more confident.